coming from the truth space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie planet, seeds and birds, fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Yeah, we coming from the true space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie planet, seeds and birds, fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to True Space. My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Harith. Welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's get into the energies. On Monday, the 27th of June, the moon is in Gemini, making a conjunction with Mercury in Gemini. How do you think this energy is going to hit us?
So Mondays, we're gonna start with a highly confusing day with our emotion, us reflecting the energy of being flexible, adaptable, even undecisive when it comes to our ideas, thoughts, ways of analyzing. You're gonna have a lot of double thoughts, especially with that conjunction to Mercury in Gemini. But the moon being in Gemini, having conjunction with the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, there is gonna allow it to think and articulate what it's thinking much more better, and try its best not to get lost in its emotion, but also try to separate the sense of what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, because Mercury and then the moon conjuncting each other, you can see how your emotion and thoughts will start mixing all together and make you feel very chaotic. And with that square to Neptune and Pisces, as your subconscious mind, or what do you guys want to call all this, the fourth, the fifth, sixth dimension, throwing all these ideas at you, trying to make you see the behind the scene realm, and then you're having all this energy to articulate and think and observe. You're attempting to communicate about all these things that you see behind the scene realm, but you're trying to think about it together as you're seeing it, but you can't speak about it. That's the square, that's the tension. Your mouth cannot catch up to what you're seeing. And that
Yeah,
and
yeah. Or your imagination and your belief systems.
and that trine to Saturn is adding that sense of thickness as opposed to scatteredness as you're hitting that square with Neptune and Pisces, because Pisces is mutable water, then we got all this mutable air, and then you end up creating this mutable cloud, and then Saturn Aquarius is giving you that is going to allow you to create opportunity to make it a little bit thicker and not so scattered, and have a body, a sense of meaning as you think, if you will, or a sense of knowing as you think.
Mm-hmm. 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 Like we already kind of talked about, or in the Venus and Gemini, we were talking about that trying out nature of Gemini, the testing type thing. And I think that type of energy is perfect for Saturn in Aquarius because it has progressive ideas that it wants to start implementing and building structures around in a social dynamic. So us being more of the in the trying phase makes us open, to join these associations, or to add, or to give part to it, whether it works towards us or against us. Wholeheartedly, I definitely see that um, playing out. And yeah, with all the mental energy to it, with Mercury in Gemini and the Moon in Gemini, your emotions, Gemini really, Moon in Gemini doesn't necessarily mean you're disloyal, but it does mean that your emotions are not only heavily swayed by the thoughts that you're having in your mind, but are easily swayable within itself. You're not necessarily so hard on or stuck on a certain way of feeling about things, or situations can really influence you to start feeling different and change how you feel. And stuff like that. So definitely be aware of that, because some of those emotions may not stick. And if you're in that type of energy, making a trine with Saturn and Aquarius and start building associations based off on that level is not going to be comfortable once The moon starts moving into other signs, and you start seeing the different aspects of your emotions, and you wanting to maybe hold on, being less in the emotional testing type mode, but wanting to hold on to certain emotions, aka prepare for the new moon that's about to happen in Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, later on, so I definitely see it playing out like that. What about Mars and Aries making a square to Pluto and Capricorn? How do you think that's gonna
That
play out?
sounds already very dangerous and sounds very transformative because Mars is already is
Very,
very like someone
very.
could die in this alignment. Like Pluto is the deep end of Mars. If Mars is a fist fight, then Pluto is like a nuclear bomb. So Mars creating Pluto, it's almost like Pluto, like it wants to check where your passion and desires have been pushed, where have been directed, have they pushed into the realm of just delusions, your selfish desires. Is it isn't it for the sense of broader reality, to build a business so it could be part of the world later on for the whole collective? Pluto in Aquarius, that's what Pluto in Capricorn wants to see Mars is doing right now. But Mars in Aries could be very focused on itself, not concerned about the world. This is what makes I think Capricorn less selfish than Aries, and see the broader sense of reality, since they come from that mid heaven perspective. How can their career or status benefit the entire world, where Aries are just for their self, literally? So Mars squaring Pluto, that's heavy
Yeah.
action being transformative for the sake of your business and the collective sense for what makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is Yeah, it's like personal desire and what you want and how you want to express yourself coming into conflict with the power and control that we have within society in general. And look at what's happening, in terms of it's crazy. We're talking about birth and Mars type energy, but Roe v. Wade, the abortion law being overturned, and look at people's reactions to it. These are the type of changes, and look how angry people are getting. Mars and Aries off of the changes of power and control that we are feeling within society and how we operate in society and laws and dynamics like that. And this could be a huge catalyst for other things. This is what the shadow government be doing. They know these alignments, and that's why certain things are lined up like that, so that you can inflict or invoke these energies. So it's like, okay, now Mars and Pluto's in play. Now people are charging up, the Mars Pluto energy. How can we utilize this and direct this into a different direction later? But just even inciting people getting upset like that is what's making the situation prime for these transformative societal changes. This anger, this desire to represent your individuals and what you want. This is going to come into conflict with things. Look at all of the air energy too. Venus and Gemini, Saturn and Aquarius, kind of. I feel like that's egging on. That's instigators in the background. Be like, yeah, yeah, you deserve to get yours. Fuck that nigga. You're talking all of that shit, telling you, oh, it's all about you. It's all about you. But saying like, maybe saying your partner ain't shit, or you got to focus on you, and or make it feel okay to not uphold these responsibilities. To not take more responsibility for certain things, and letting go of certain responsibilities, even so, or having a broader way of looking at these things. I feel like the air signs, is kind of can egg on Mars and Aries in terms of thinking of your individual desires, because socially that's what's acceptable right now, and we see this playing out, and we see that's which is creating some volatile energy. So I definitely see, and then look at the moon being in Gemini, where a lot of people can be swayed into a different direction. What, based off of the conversation, based off of information and the gossip. Who knows? But that's some heavy energy that we're seeing on Monday. Looking at Tuesday, the 28th, we're having the new moon in Cancer. um, and it's squaring Jupiter and Aries. How do you think this energy is gonna play out for us?
So this new moon is gonna be all about basically creating a sense of home and comfortability for this new unique sense of value that we're creating with Uranus and Taurus and things of that nature. We want to bring it home. We want to tell our family. We want to make it comfortable. We want to take it from our second house and bring it to our heart. We want to feel it and we want to protect it. This is where the new moon is going to give us a new sense of ways of connecting to it. And the square to Jupiter is going to allow us to bring all this uh, ways of seeing reality and personal issues and what we've been doing in it by expanding and learning, extracting knowledge and wisdom into home also. So Jupiter also is exalted in Cancer. So the new moon in Cancer is going to be able to bring in all those expansion, wisdom, and experiences that we learn and help us to make this new sense of self individuality and bring it home in this new moon in Cancer essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really coming into an understanding of how you want to feel. And this is the energy and time where you plant the seeds of how you want to feel. You establishing the type of familiarity that you want to keep around you, that you want to preserve, you know. You really tending to the friends that, you know, are more than just friends, you know, your actual families, and the stuff that is, you know, that is really you really care about, those things that reflect the emotional state of being that you are most um, comfortable with, that provides a nurturing type of energy. And with the square with Jupiter and Aries, where you're supposed to go be experiencing new things, you're supposed to go be giving birth to things and expanding new senses of individuality, which is hard to do when you're trying to be comfortable, when you're looking for comfortability and you're trying to do that. But they kind of go hand in hand, just kind of like what you were saying in terms of, and that's how squares are. Squares aren't, you know, like blockades like that. It's like a challenge. It's a riddle. It's a wall. You have to um, be quick on the switch, and maybe you bump into it, but you can still go into the other direction or still go where you need to go. So it's more so of a frustration. So I see you trying to be comfortable and establish a sense of familiarity can narrow down and make it hard for you to expand your sense of in individual, because maybe you could be going through new things, new desires, give birth to a new thing that may change how you feel later down the line. So it's kind of combating with each other, but they can work hand in hand, just like how you're saying with the exaltation and Jupiter's connection with Cancer, in terms of going through that struggle kind of helps you broaden this idea of home, of what it can be, you know, and kind of makes you more accepting of the struggle or the experiences that require you to obtain comfortability, and understand, okay, I need to go do this, that, and the third, in order for me to have this comfortability, instead of, oh, I need this to feel comfortable. This having to do this, that, and the third is holding me back. There's more so like, oh, it's not holding. Oh, I see. I just have to go and take care of that. So I see that energy. Mercury and Gemini, sextile Jupiter and Aries, on Tuesday. How do you think that's gonna be playing out?
That's a heavy exchange of information and information being expanded on back and forth between Aries and Gemini. Jupiter in Aries is expanding your vision and the way you see and visualize things, while Mercury in Gemini is extracting knowledge and is not extracting knowledge and wisdom, but is looking at information, is analyzing, is processing all these things that the sun made us aware of when the sun was in Gemini. And with this sextile, you're gonna be able to exchange experiences that you brought based upon what you really desire, what you want to initiate, and then all the information you gathered. So they're gonna help each other out. Mercury in Gemini is gonna give Jupiter in Aries the information that it needs to expand more and be more smarter about the way it goes about its experiences and not be so broad senses. And Jupiter in Aries will help Mercury and Gemini to be much more uh have a sense of imagination, not to be so strict and logical, and just see sense of broader of reality, not to and things of that nature. They're gonna help each other. It's almost like your brain being expanded, and then the way you're expanding and learning, having a sense of a logic into it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is a good bridge for Mercury to interact with Jupiter in terms of your mind to interact with your reservoir of wisdom and knowledge because Jupiter is in the beginning of its cycle. So it doesn't have as big of a head yet. Wait till it gets into Sagittarius. Then it has a big head, and you're not telling it anything about its philosophy or spiritual system and shit like that. It knows that. It can see all things from perspective when it's like that. But in Aries, it's like, I'm open to these new things. So I don't know as much. I understand I have to go through these experiences to go and build this knowledge. So young Mercury and Gemini has all this information where most of it's irrelevant. Has a bridge. Sag doesn't have as big as a head. Isn't as well versed and experienced or philosophical yet. It's more so wanting the experiences to get to that point. So aka maybe it's like a brother in the beginning, the older brother beginning college, maybe in the beginning of college, he still has time to deal with a little brother, and they still parlay, but maybe later on he gets more exams or he gets more friends and he gets the social causes and he wants to represent different type of things, and he's like, I don't want to play with or talk about Legos anymore and all of that. But now Mercury can talk with Jupiter about Legos, and Jupiter will be listening and expect and get wisdom and meaning and knowledge from it. So it's like your mind's gonna be way more centered on the now and the experiences that you have to go through now instead of trying to piece together the whole leap of information that your experience, the broad picture that your experiences paint. And then what about the trine to Saturn in Aquarius
Just
with
the Saturn and Aquarius trines, just making sure that you're taking responsibility and you're being part of the collective. You're taking your part and things of that nature. Because Gemini and Aries could be like very childish and make you like fuck around and not take your part of responsibility and things of that nature. You gotta take part of responsibility and you gotta take the birth energy and make it like uh, workable for older people essentially. You bring spring into
mm-hmm,
winter,
mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then, yep, that's how Tuesday's looking. So with that new moon, definitely a lot of newness. Look at all of that. That's like very spring type, but yeah, Saturn Aquarius definitely bringing that winter energy. But it's very new and expressive. Really diving into new feelings and emotions. And this is the new moon. So really try and plant the seeds of how you want to feel, of what comfortability means to you and how you want to see yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, and planting the right seeds, understanding that you can't always be comfortable. So it has to be a way where you can be comfortable with uncomfortability, or you're okay with sacrificing certain things in order for you to maintain the things that really matter, that you care about. And that's the self-protecting, or in the nurturing, protecting the home energy of Cancer. So you want to really bring more of that out there. Ooh, some water rituals for these new moons going in Cancer. Maybe writing on the bottle how you want to feel, letting it sit in that. Maybe get outside, catch the moonlight or something like that. I bet some shit like that would be powerful.
Hmm.
Looking at Wednesday, the 29th of June, the moon is in later degrees of Cancer, making a trine to Neptune and Pisces, which is in retrograde. How do you think this is going to hit us?
So we're finally back to retrograde season where we're gonna go back and everything reorganize our dreams, illusions, Neptune and Pisces, reorganize our structures and how we're gonna connect with society. Saturn and Aquarius, and soon Uranus and Taurus is gonna start retrograding too. So the Moon in late Cancer right now is allowing us to create, like what Caesar's saying, how we truly feel and how we're gonna create a home for our sense of uniqueness, originality. Uranus and Taurus, and then our dreams and illusions, Neptune and Pisces, but also how we're gonna take structure and society, Saturn and Aquarius. So this new moon is putting us in this very place to really decide what we want to make part of our home, and that's gonna create a trine with Neptune and Pisces to let the universe know the mutable water, the water above and the water below, that this is how we feel, and the more we direct how we feel, the more the universe will be direct with how it feels, because Neptune and Pisces could be very indirect and not allow us to pick on the feeling, where the new moon in Cancer could be very direct and allow us to decide how to feel, and not allow us to be moved back by all these experiences and all this confusion that being thrown at us, especially at late degree retrogression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Especially Pisces being in, Neptune being in retrograde in Pisces. I see it maybe more acting out more of its passive
Yeah, I
qualities,
see going back in your
whereas
dreams.
your imag
Mm-hmm.
ex- exactly, and like your beliefs kind of taking more of a passivity and your imagination, but the moon in Cancer is going to bring out some that water aspects and make it more active in terms, because it's in retrograde. Maybe it's going to be more accessible to start incorporating your belief system and your imaginations into how you are feeling now, because that's kind of not necessarily the easiest thing to do in terms of like with your how you feel in the moment is very subject to change, or your environment, whereas your belief systems and your imagination is kind of built up over time, so it's kind of hard to implement your imagination and your beliefs in real time, like that. But with this alignment, it's making it a little bit easier to do that. So maybe we're starting to be more imaginative and broad, and how comfortability can take shape and form, and that's powerful, because now it's helping you understand the different ways that you can be in that emotional state of being without having to reflect it, while it's staying energetic, if you get what I mean. Well, where you're letting it take shape and form multiple different ways. You're understanding the water realm of things, and now you're connecting to things before they dense down into the earth material, physical.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moon in Cancer is making a sextile to Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. How do you think that's hitting
So
you?
you're basically you're feeling like a mom. You're ready to give. You want to give birth, and you want to make something comfortable. And Uranus and the sextile Uranus and Taurus is showing you what to make, what to bring home, what is gonna make your home comfortable, what is gonna bring uniqueness and originality to your home life, and like what can you what area in your life, or specifically your home, how can you add originality there, and how can you bring more things that being innovated into the world, into your home, and approach and connect with them deeply. I feel like the new moon in Cancer is gonna really allow us to emotionally connect with all these things we've been building so far with Uranus in Taurus. I really feel them, feel that scariness of Uranus in Taurus, especially with the North Node right there too. So feel the unknown, feel the lack of stability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then that's really what the moon in Cancer is about. Like that nurturing energy is very um accepting or vulnerable. This is the first stage of vulnerability, if we're looking at the qualities of water. The first stages of opening up to connection and to establishing a link between you and something else. So it's definitely really accentuating all of that moon energy. And then I was even noticing how Cancer would be the second house to Taurus. So it's like that's Taurus's self worth is highly directed to how it feels, to how they feel, and it makes so much sense in terms of how you feel about what you have. Really sets the tone of how you think for yourself. How you feel about your talents really sets the tone of how you think for yourself. So this sextile can really help you um, nurture and kind of reflect and refocus on your talents and what's valuable about you, or your self worth system. Maybe even help that and add beneficial um, emotions to your self worth, showing you how to better care about yourself, or ways that you can be more comfortable with your self worth and understanding it, having better emotional perspectives of them. And then Mercury and Gemini is making a square to Neptune and Pisces while trining Saturn and Aquarius. So kind of talked about the energy. How you playing out like with Gemini and Pisces.
So like as you're like thinking about the information, the knowledge, and everything you've been analyzing so far, and then you seeing how you could utilize this information to take your part and the structure and the overall part of the society, you're still a little bit confused about all those dreams and illusions that you're receiving, and you don't know how to think about them because Mercury and Gemini could be quite logical to Neptune and Pisces, but the Saturn and Aquarius is allowing you to tap into that sense of dream realm, but from the point of view of your part of society, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Directing that imagination to your social causes, and how you connect with everybody
Mm-hmm.
socially. Yeah, for sure. And then that's Wednesday. Looking at Thursday, the 30th, the moon's gonna be in on that Cancer Leo cusp, making a square to Mars and Aries.
Mm.
How do you think this is going to
That's gonna be highly
hit us?
volatile because you're coming out of the new moon and late degrees of Cancer, and then Mars in Aries is I think it's in late degrees, at least 20 plus or something like that. So you're emotionally initiating how you feel, but your passionate desires is focused on your personal issues, while the moon is focused on your home, your vulnerabilities, your domestic issues, and things of that nature. So you got these two sensitive spots squaring each other, really making you uh, feel naked in a sense that you having nothing and that you gotta initiate something and give birth to something. But that square is almost like it's giving you a sense of like if I those two things clashes, they're gonna be completely destroyed. I can't bring my sense of self into my home, or I can't bring my home into my sense of self and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely see that it's hard to balance, especially with Mars being in its dignity in Aries and the moon being in its dignity in Cancer. It's kind of like, where they don't really budge, or it's so comfortable or natural to act out these separate instances in our lives and make them clash and influence each other, aka exert our energy into our desires, which inevitably would create a frustration with how we emotionally feel, how we connecting with those around us, and to all of that type of stuff. So when it's going to be so natural to exert energy in those ways, or it's going to feel so natural for you to emotionally respond in these types of ways. But even though they feel natural, And it's like it's justified. It's up to you, or you have to be in the driver's seat as a spirit and observe how these energies are coming together, even though they each individually feel natural. It's up to you to have that awareness to see how that they can best coincide, or how you can best transition from one energy into another without creating, a hostile type of um, environment. Because Aries even wants to get things going. Moon and Cancer wants to be um, open and comfortable. Both of these sounds like it's a disaster to want things right then and there. You know what I mean? And to not be satisfied with certain things, and to either have a physical, an emotional outburst. Whether it be through anger or through tears. Either way can start playing that type of frustrating level, and it could be very frustrating. But that's an important thing for us to deal with, to see how they can mix and manage with each other.
I you gotta remember.
And then
You gotta remember we're in the second quarter of this moon cycle where we're gonna exalt everything that we give birth to in the spring season, around in the summer season, exalting our emotion, paying attention to these things of that nature. This is why we had the earlier Pluto in Capricorn trying the moon in, I believe, the moon in Gemini, and has entered as we had the moon in Cancer, and right now earlier this week we had the Mars square Pluto, Pluto in Capricorn, just to make sure you're on that business orientation node. So when the moon in late Cancer square Mars in Aries, that's almost like you already had a check with Grandpa to go towards business, but right now your passionate desires gotta go against your emotions, sense of comfortability, while in the background you have to go towards Pluto and Capricorn. So you got all these aspects that you gotta initiate
mm-hmm.
from all aspects of your life, business, personality, and home, and later on you got Libra to deal with.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for sure. And then yeah, it's like it's really hard to give birth to things, and to
Take care of them at the same time.
nurture
Yeah.
at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. Exactly. You can't do both. So it's like when to do which.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to understand moon moments and Mars moments.
A great way it plays out in
Um,
biology is that your body can clean out and detox your body, unless it's nighttime fully where you fully rested. But while you're in the morning initiating, utilizing your nervous system, moving your body can utilize cancer, the lymphatic immune system, to do its job. So it gotta utilize one system at the time at a certain percentage throughout the day. So you can see how with this square, it's hard to do these two things together: take actions, but also take care of things.
yeah. hmm And then when, say, Aries comes too quick or tries to interrupt, Cancer, the sleep time, but you don't get enough sleep, you feel groggy, and things are all shaky, and things are waving. You get, that's maybe how that square starts to act out. And then Mercury and Gemini's in conjuncting the South Node in Scorpio. So that's interesting. How these conversations, and then Gemini, Mercury and Gemini loves to talk,
Mm-hmm.
So it's all of these conversations that are coming out. Is it putting us into these situations where we are going to these new, awkward, forward moving situations where we are confronting our insecurities, or we are confronting how we are emotionally connecting to things on a deeper level, or exposing them, bringing them out more into the surface.
That reminds me of like the whole abortion thing. What you're talking about, I feel like a Mercury in Gemini. That feels like information being spreaded about it, while everybody reacting to their own vulnerabilities about what they think about the situation, but it's in conjunction, so everybody not actually fully know the totality of the information and things of that nature.
It creates an uncertainty, and then it is in conjunction, because look at it, it's like it's a ruling that leads to them being allowed to suppress it. So it's like now states have individual control. There's no constitutional right for abortion. So now states get to choose. So it put us into a new space where an opposition can happen. So it's literally an in conjunction where it's five signs away, which is preparing you for the opposition. So you're so right. It does have that type of energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like I heard this funny thing where someone said, Gemini evil twin is Scorpio, but Gemini's don't recognize it because it's a in conjunction. It's their blind spot.
Exactly, exactly. If Gemini is manipulation and or gossip, wordplay, manipulation, the trickster, with
Mm-hmm.
Mercury. Scorpio, that's how they have fun. That's their fifth house. That's their fifth house. That's how Scorpio has a good time, bro. Telling you lies, manipulating, tricking you. That's how they have fun. That's how they creatively express themselves. If they're fucking with you like that, they love you. That's how they express their love. That's funny. But that's the energy of Thursday, the 30th. Looking at Friday, July 1st. The moon is moving into Leo, and it's making that trine with Jupiter and Chiron and Aries. How do you think that alignment is going to
So
hit?
right now you're gonna emotionally fixate yourself on everything. Yeah, you decided to initiate a sense of comfort in and create a home in. But right now, this is the time to jump on the stage and show the world that this is how I feel. This is my sense of comfortability. But right now, I'm gonna go entertain it. I'm gonna go express it, and that itself is gonna create opportunity for you to heal Jupiter and Carrion, which is Jupiter's expansion, and then Carrion is problems and issues and trauma in our head, the way we see ourselves, our personal issues. And the moon is Leo, is to give you that sense of courage so you could see yourself in a way better light and expand Jupiter, allow it to expand Carrion, sense of a weakness and lack of confidence. And the whole sextile world, Venus in Gemini too, is gonna give you a sense of that I have so many options of relationships, so many love matters I could view from this very logical spot to pick whatever is better for me. And the moon in Leo is giving you this feeling of wanting to be a player, while Venus in Gemini is throwing you all those alley oop to go after. Mm-hmm.
Hands down, hands down. Coming from the moon, summertime is kind of like a Hadouken or a Kamehameha wave. It's that full expression. I feel like Cancer is that build up. You're charging it. You know how it takes like 5 episodes for the nigga to do the fucking Kamehameha
Mm-hmm.
wave, and then the nigga's thinking about his whole past. He's thinking about how he feels. He's reflecting and doing all of that thing. Thinking about daddy dying, all the niggas that died, and all the pain, and it's Lord and the Hadouken. And it's releasing all of that. That's Leo. Where it's expressing all of that type of stuff. So it's like where the new moon, we was loading up that Kamehameha wave where we were focusing on the emotions and what we want, and this is what makes me comfortable. And now I'm gonna creatively express that and show that out into the world. And then as that release is happening, just like how they're releasing all of those emotional energies that is drawn up within the fight or whatever is going on. Jupiter and Chiron is there, so that release of that emotional expression of how you want to feel, and giving that the love that you kind of want to receive, being giving with your care and nurturing type abilities, so you can start attracting that way of how you want to feel to you, it's going to help expand your sense of identity, because now all the things that are coming to you and the experiences that come from that is going to show you different aspects of yourself that can lead to heals. It's going to show you maybe mistakes that you have made prior, mistakes during then, but it's just a huge growing moment as you're releasing that. It's like it's a whole release, after that you really have an expanded sense of self, and it's like you release those emotions, you put that out there, so you can have faith that it's going to come back to you, because that's how you are expressing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus and Taurus, making a square with the moon in Leo.
So,
How do you think this is
like
going
CG
to
was saying, as
uh,
you're throwing this intense, uh, like power bomb from the moon in Leo, showing the world how you feel and what you like to entertain based on how you felt in the new moon in Cancer. Uranus in Taurus wants to see the value of that, wants to see that the stability of that, want to see the uniqueness of that. Is it just you wanting to be on the stage? Is it just you want to be a drama queen, or is it just you want to be the centered of the
mm-hmm,
spot for no reason, just delusional old Leo, wanting everybody to look at you because you think you're too pretty and everybody will likes you. But Uranus in Taurus is testing your value. It wants to see that did you jump on the stage with a value, and that value you should have decided on what you made comfortable in the new moon in Cancer.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For sure. And then even looking at that concept of, like, I think the second house is powerful, especially with humans, how it's dealing with self worth. But Leo is the second house to Cancer, so that's Cancer's self worth and self love. Their tool, how they can give love, because they want to feel certain ways. So it's like how the first component of creating those relationships is how they can give that energy out, and then how they can creatively express that out. So that's where you know Leo's really coming from. And then with Uranus and Taurus, it's kind of like, yeah, like this change in physical sensation and physical reality in general. This change of values kind of maybe changes on how you can give love emotionally, because certain things aren't valuable anymore. You know what I mean? Like, say you make something for someone or something like that, and they no longer eat that anymore. They're on this new diet, or something like that, and it's like now you don't know how to give that love anymore, because you used to make that nigga that fruit cake, and he ate that shit up, and that was the icebreaker, and stuff like that. And just that example, how it could take different shape and forms in a different way. But I see that square kind of taking shape and form in that way. And then it also, while you're trying to emotionally respond to how you want to see yourself and how you want to especially coming off the new moon, how you want to feel. Now you're giving love based off of how you want to feel. Other people, Uranus, it's socially constructing or being a play at what you see as value. So if other people, or socially, that's not seen as something that is stable, that's going to lead to value, maybe they're not going to want the love that you're trying to get or receive, or respond well to the emotions that you are trying to do, because it's a little bit more dry. So you may see conflict in that. But with those trines, know that even if you see conflict in that, or people aren't looking at it like as if it's valuable, or it may not seem like it's giving you that right now stability. The trine with Jupiter and Chiron, it's helping you expand and heal you as an individual. So shine that fucking light and be proud of those emotions, even when it may not be the most stable. Don't go fuck up your bag, and stuff like that. Or if other people aren't looking at it like it's valuable right now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have pride in your emotions. That's something that you should remember with that square going on. Looking at Saturday, July 2nd, the moon in Leo is making it in conjunction to Neptune and Pisces now. That's in retrograde. How do you think this is going to hit us?
It's almost like as you're expressing all these things on the stage, you're getting this second thoughts about your dreams and imagination that you really want to go after because of the retrograde. So you don't feel as confident to approach these things, or you don't feel like you're expressing the right things on the stage that describes what the overall dream realm or what you see in your own imagination. It's almost like you don't live up to what you seen in your own imagination type of energy. So you gotta watch out for that in conjunction, not to confuse you, and like recognize when the moon later on goes into Scorpio. That's when you're gonna go deeper on these dreams and imagination, since how you initially felt about them was in the new moon in Cancer, but the moon in Leo is not about really understanding them fully. It's just about entertaining them right now, having fun. Later on in Scorpio, the fall season, we're gonna go deeper on them and then understand them, and we're gonna conclude how we felt in the new moon in Cancer later on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're so right. After coming off of Cancer, Cancer, it's a probably it's just when the moon in Cancer, it's a little bit more clear of your influences and your beliefs and how to incorporate your imagination into making you feel comfortable. But when the moon goes into Leo and that in conjunction, it's like you're pushing, expressing some of that energy out. It's like, okay, now it's time to go and express that and do all that. But it feels weird. It feels weird and it's awkward. It's like, wait, does that even align? Was that what I believed? In Cancer, moon in Cancer, it seems so clear. You know what I mean? It's like you reflected on it, you felt it, you're in that emotion. But then once you started pushing out that energy, whoa, is this what I wanted? Is this what my imagination is leading to? And kind of putting you in that new state awkward state of being where something new could come out of it and it's unfamiliar. But that state of being is not necessarily bad. It's actually needed, and things were supposed to be clearer in Cancer when you're in that reflective mode. But when you're going out, there's so much and doing it. There's so much more variables that are coming out, um, and you're challenging your imagination a little bit more because it's having to keep up real time. So I see it playing out like that. So even if like you remember what you the seeds that you had just previously planted in the new moon. So when you're going out and expressing these things and doing it, and it may feel a little bit awkward with your belief system or a little bit jarring, you can know that remember the seeds that you had planted. And even though it feels weird walking that path, walking through them, you know that the seed you had planted was genuine. So that you need to go and experience that awkwardness, that uncomfortability, in order to grow those seeds that you had planted.
Mhm.
Mercury and Gemini making a sextile to Mars and Aries
Mm. So
on
So
Saturday.
that's heavy birth energy. Mercury is in its home ruler, and then Mars in its home ruler. So like this is giving you a lot of energy to really take actions on what you think, but also think about your own passions. So this is where Gemini is gonna help Aries, but also Aries is gonna help Gemini. So when you wanna definitely utilize it for the best things, but you wanna definitely watch out for the negative side, which is you having so many options that you might end up pushing out too much energy that leads to nowhere, because Mercury and Gemini is gonna provide all these options. So Mars and Aries could take action, but you could end up taking action on scatteredness. So that's what you wanna watch out for.
For sure. I see a lot of spontaneity in Saturday, or a lot of in the moment type things that may happen. And with Neptune and Pisces may be in there, there could be a whole bunch of emotional influences that subtly move you and spark you to react to these things. but there's a lot of things that's going to, kind of demand your attention, or you to say things, kind of right then and there in the moment. Boom, 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 bam, things are happening leading to another and on Saturday. So try to not get overwhelmed and use it as an opportunity, like to be able to act in the moment like that is it's a very um powerful skill. And this is where Gemini is trying to help, why these springtime energies may seem a little bit more selfish, because they're trying to get things going. So it's like you're trying to talk about all of the consequences and all of the emotional buildup, or how you're affecting people. It's like all of that shit comes later. Um, but when you're trying to get things going, you can't really be stopping thinking about things like that, which was what caused a lot of things happening in the moment, which makes you develop more knowledge of yourself and how to deal with things. So even though you may make mistakes and say things wrong, and things happen quick, you may not take advantage, you had learned from it. That's kind of how Saturday is looking at springtime energy. And then Mercury is in Gemini, making an in conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn on Saturday, which is very similar to what we was talking about with the node in Scorpio, in terms of that in conjunction,
Hmm. But this, but this is
uh,
more,
how it's in that new
yeah, but
space.
it's more of a in conjunction about your business status, as opposed to how you deeply feel about a situation or certain things that's happening in the news.
Mm-hmm. 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 For sure. What would that be? That's not the Gemini, or Capricorn is the seventh house of Gemini. So is what Gemini needs in a partner, someone to rein them in, to make them seem serious or something like that, or is a good partnership energy, which is not something that maybe Gemini wants to do necessarily. But having someone else who can do that probably does, or can look at those perspectives for them, and help point it out to them, probably does help. See it playing out like that. But and Mercury and Gemini, with our minds being in its home, but still being scattered, I can see how it's, for Pluto and its energy, in terms of power and control and letting go. These are energies that are very, and Pluto itself is the ancestor. It's very accumulative type energies, whereas Gemini and Mercury is very direct, very surface level. Um, it's like bringing like a surface level mind into some deep heavy shit, which is new, so it can play out as a fresh perspective, where it's allowing you to see the things, your responsibilities, and the things that you need to transform or let go of in a fresher, lesser light, so that maybe you can have a better perspective in going and tackling these things. Maybe it could also cause you to misrepresent them, maybe look at them as too light, or make your mind not pay homage to the seriousness or the severity of the influence that this Pluto thing can go. It's like you're like, oh, you're thinking all of these different things around it, but you really do have to go and let go of that thing. It's not a thinking type matter. It's something that you have to do. It's an emotional state of being that you have to let go, but you're trying to maybe think your way out of it. I can see it playing out negatively like that too. Yeah. Um, that's Saturday. I'm looking at Sunday, the 3rd of July. The moon's moving into the early degrees of Virgo now, and this is making a trine with that Aries Taurus cusp Mars is going into, which is very interesting. Oh shit, we're even talking about Roe versus Wade, and just the political climate that's going on in the states. last year, was it on January 6th? And then even the news, they're talking about January 6th committee and all of this different type of shit. And this alignment happened 2 years ago, because that's how long it takes Mars to go through another spot. But as soon as Mars went 0 degrees Taurus, that's when the capital attack happened. That's when that when that had happened, which is interesting. And Uranus was there too, so it's like, oh, and then we seen the dynamic of the energy of what had happened last time, and look at what's going on leading to that. So I mean, maybe more of that's going on. That's interesting. How do you think that energy is gonna play out
So
though?
right now we're gonna be fully, uh, we're gonna be reacting, and we're gonna try to practicalize everything that we emotionally connected to when the new moon was in Cancer. How we decided to feel, what did we decide to create a home for, and then what we decided to express. But right now we're practicalizing. We're trying to see the conclusion of how we feel. Can we make how we feel practical to everybody? Can we put in some form of routine and practicality? Can it benefit us as we're emotionally deciding these things, acting more of a manager to our how we feel? That is creating opportunities for our passion and desires to go from this area of visions and imagination into more fixated practicality. So going forward and being more physical with our actions instead of more visual based, which I feel Mars in Aries was about building on their vision first, charging it. So when Mars in Taurus comes, we could go actually go build on it, and with that trying to Moon and Virgo is gonna help us to manage it. It's almost like having a manager than a worker.
Facts, facts. Yeah, you're so right. Mars and Aries is like giving your energy, exerting your energy, and building the vision, and determining on what you want and what you desire. Mars and Taurus is like exerting the energy, and being passionate about making that vision real, about materializing it, touching it somehow, working, being on the grind, working for it, for sure. And then the moon in Virgo is coming off of um, uh, new moon, so it's kind of like that summer, that summer energy where you're holding it, the Kamehameha, you had shot it out, and then moon in Virgo, it hit the nigga, and now you're seeing, you know. All of those emotions that you're building up and how you creatively expressed it, if that was the right way to go about how you feel and those comfortabilities, and how to use those emotions when you see the effect of things and how they have worked out. Now you're starting to see the practicality of your emotions, and you're starting to organize them and kind of shape them a little bit more to it. What now is like the analyzing, whereas Moon in Cancer, you're probably a little bit more vulnerable and open. But when Moon in Virgo, it's kind of more of like a retract of how it was when you were open, and how you pushed that off, and how it was received, and how you can go best preserving. It's, yeah, you're just like saying business manager, but with your emotions. So it's like, okay, let me look at the data of my emotions. Let me see the exchange rate and the transaction lift of my emotions, and see how I can best mitigate. Oh, I spent a little bit too emotions over there. Oh, I spent a little bit too much emotions over there. All right, next time we're rearranging the budget, and we're not giving emotions over there. We're not giving emotions over here.
That's how all Moon Virgos think, yo. They just think about allocating their emotion,
Facts.
and I have my Moon in Virgo, but I have it in my 10 and a half, so I think about allocating my emotion into different like business oriented situations. So like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
your head is gonna look like the stock.
To put yourself in the best
Yeah, so your
position.
head's gonna look like the stock market on Sunday as you're picking the right workers to go for the right job and things of that nature. But have to watch out for the in conjunction with Jupiter and Aries, because Jupiter wants to be expansive and more broader, while your emotion right now is a very detail oriented area. You want to focus on one spot, while Jupiter is set to expand your vision. So you can see the malfunction between emotional micromanagement as you're expanding your entire vision and imagination. It's also almost like you're trying to micromanage your vision, but it's getting broader and broader. So you that's the inconjunction. That's the blind spot. You're getting confused.
Exactly, exactly. But that's real, and that's how life is. As you're trying to make sense out of things, experiences are still being thrown at you that are adding more to it. In terms of the results, say you throw out the Kamehameha wave and it hit the nigga, and that's Virgo, and you're looking, ooh, that nigga got burned, that nigga got scorched, and whatever, whatever, and you're analyzing, you're seeing whatever, whatever had happened. But Jupiter in Aries is now the brother has seen from a distance, like, hey, what you do to my little bro? And he starts running up, and you're like, oh shit, I'm still trying to analyze how my Kamehameha wave had hit this nigga, and his big bro is already here, steamrolling, coming to me. So it's that in conjunction. Whereas you do have the information, but maybe you didn't analyze all of it yet or make sense out of all of it yet, but it's still pushing you to go and expand more, still giving you new situations and experiences that shape how you see yourself. So I definitely do seeing it shake up there, shake up in that way. But that's like what I said. That's life, and that's just something that we're gonna have to kind of have to mitigate, and it kind of builds, and then it's leading into what the moon gonna eventually going into Libra, creating that opposition where it's preparing you for that newness while things keep on expanding. It's preparing you for that newness and how it makes you emotionally respond on a relationship level. So now how you take this and do it on a social level, if you get what I mean. Peace Dealer talks about when you get to Libra, it's like you're building the individual up to Libra, because those are like the individual signs, and as you go up, you're starting to get a little bit more collective. But once you get into Libra, Virgo is you mastering the skill. Libra, he says, is you doing the synchronized dance with all of your friends. All of your friends line up, and y'all dancing together. If you get what I mean. So it has that type of energy where you know how to incorporate that with other people now. So now it creates that. So as you're trying to utilize that on a social level, but you're still expanding the sense of who you are. But because you were pushed into that scenario where you're analyzing in the moment, where things are still expanding as you are mastering and coming to make sense of things, it's a little bit more manageable. All of that newness when you're put into a situation and when you're put into a partnership, when you're put into a relationship, to navigate it all and keep up. But yeah, that's how the week is looking. Um, like and subscribe if you fuck with the video. Check out our website, truspace.biz, if you want to catch a reading. Align with cosmological energies. Check us out on there. We can really get you right. Our Instagram, truspace underscore. Look us up over there. Get your daily esoteric content. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Peace out, Soul Group.